Welcome back, Cowboys Nation. You already know what time it is. We're diving deep into the biggest and boldest updates straight out of training camp. And let me tell you, there's no shortage of headline-grabbing developments right now in Oxnard. Jerry Jones has finally broken his silence on the future of Micah Parsons, sent a strong message regarding Trevon Diggs, and in a move that raised more than a few eyebrows, the Dallas Cowboys have officially placed 4 players on the PUP and NFI lists. That's right, 4. And while some fans might be tempted to panic, we're here to break it all down for you piece by piece, layer by layer. Buckle up, because the 2025 season might already be taking shape, and these early signs are as revealing as they are dramatic. So let's start where every Cowboys fan's eyes are locked right now on none other than Micah Parsons. There's been intense speculation in recent weeks about whether Parsons is about to become the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history, and while Jerry Jones didn't put an exact dollar figure on the table, his words carried the weight of a man who knows the stakes and isn't afraid to go all in. Speaking to reporters outside the team's training facility, Jones said that Micah Parsons is as central to this team's identity as Troy Aikman once was to the offense. Now let that sink in for a second. That's a level of praise not thrown around lightly in Cowboys circles. What's more, Jerry didn't stop there. He added that when you have a generational talent in your building, you don't let him leave, you build around him. That's not just confidence. That's a mission statement. But what makes this all the more intense is the context. Parsons, known for his game-wrecking speed, relentless motor, and leadership on and off the field, is entering a crucial season where his next contract could reshape the Cowboys' salary cap for years to come. The team has to balance his future with other star contracts and looming free agents. And yet, from the way Jerry spoke, there's a sense that Dallas is prepared to write a blank check figuratively, if not literally. There's also talk that this camp will feature position experimentation for Parsons, potentially lining him up in more traditional linebacker roles while still letting him rush the passer. This could not only boost his versatility stats but increase his market value even more when contract talks heat up. And if Jerry's tone is anything to go by, those talks are closer than fans might think. But Jerry didn't just single out Parsons. Another major talking point was the future of Trevon Diggs, the ball-hawking corner who's already become one of the most electrifying defensive backs in the NFL. Last season may have been a disappointment in terms of injuries, but according to Jones, Diggs is right where we want him to be health-wise and is expected to take on an even more critical role this year, not just as a lockdown corner, but as a defensive leader. Diggs has been recovering from a torn ACL he suffered in practice early last season, and fans have been eager for any update on his progress. Jerry made it clear, Diggs is not only expected to be fully active during the latter half of camp but will be a full go for Week 1 barring any setbacks. That's a massive sigh of relief for Cowboys fans and defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, who will be counting on Diggs to anchor a secondary filled with both talent and questions. And that brings us to one of the more sobering bits of news to emerge from training camp: the PUP and NFI lists. As of the official start of camp, 4 players have been placed on either the physically unable to perform list or the non-football injury list. Let's go through each name and what it means. First up is linebacker DeMarvion Overshown, who is returning from a torn ACL he suffered last preseason. Though he's progressing well, team doctors have elected to ease him back into full activity. That's smart management of a long-term asset, but fans were hoping to see Overshown's explosiveness back on the field right away. This delay isn't necessarily bad news, but it's a reminder that recovery isn't always linear. Then there's tight end Peyton Hendershot, who's dealing with a lingering ankle injury. Though not as high-profile a player as Parsons or Diggs, Hendershot had been carving out a niche as a reliable red zone option. His absence could shake up the tight end rotation, particularly if Luke Schoonmaker or Jake Ferguson begins camp strong. The Cowboys need depth at tight end to complement Dak Prescott's passing game, and missing reps at this stage could put Hendershot behind the curve. Don't count him out, though he's a scrappy player with a lot to prove once he's healthy. Third on the list is defensive lineman Viliami Fehoko Jr., who continues to battle shoulder issues. The defensive line is a place where Dallas cannot afford to be thin, especially if the plan is to take some pressure off of Parsons by rotating other rushers and more frequently. Fehoko was expected to be part of that rotation, especially in pass rushing sub-packages. His status on the PUP list could open the door for other younger players or camp invites to make their mark, and that kind of competition could end up being a blessing in disguise. And finally, perhaps the biggest surprise is undrafted rookie running back Nathaniel Peat landing on the non-football injury list. This is particularly disappointing because Peat had been generating buzz as a potential camp standout thanks to his speed and open field agility. With the running back room still in flux following Tony Pollard's departure, and the team still evaluating Ezekiel Elliott's return in a limited role, Peat had a real opportunity to climb the depth chart. The hope is that this NFI stint is temporary, but the margin for error is razor thin for UDFAs trying to make the 53-man roster. Still, there are silver linings here. Players on the PUP list can return to action at any point during camp, and being placed on the list early is often a precautionary move rather than a sign of serious trouble. What's more, the Cowboys training staff has been especially conservative in the last couple of seasons when managing injuries. The goal is to have key contributors healthy for the regular season, not to rush them into unnecessary contact in July. That's especially true with a 17-game schedule that demands long-term thinking. What's fascinating to watch, though, is how these early absences create opportunities elsewhere on the roster. With Overshown sidelined, eyes are turning to rookies like Maris Lufau and free agent signing Damian Wilson to step into rotational linebacker roles. At tight end, the competition between Schoonmaker and Ferguson becomes even more important. And in the defensive trenches, someone like Sam Williams or Chauncey Galston might suddenly see more reps, potentially accelerating their growth heading into the regular season. This training camp has also been a bit of a media circus, in true Cowboys fashion. With national outlets descending on Oxnard, the narrative around the Cowboys is once again straddling the line between Super Bowl hype and catastrophic collapse. Every detail is magnified. Dak's every throw is being dissected like it's the fourth quarter of the NFC Championship. CeeDee Lamb's chemistry with Brandon Cooks is already generating highlight reels in early camp sessions. And the defense, which Mike Zimmer is hoping to mold into an elite unit, has been flying around the field with the kind of energy that reminds you this team is chasing something bigger than a playoff berth. They're chasing a legacy. There's also some chatter around the sidelines that the Cowboys aren't done making moves. Jerry Jones hinted at ongoing conversations regarding a veteran defensive tackle addition, possibly someone to shore up the middle of the line alongside Motzie Smith. While no names have been officially floated, insiders suggest that Dallas could be keeping tabs on free agents like Linval Joseph or Akeem Hicks, veterans who wouldn't need a full offseason to contribute. That's speculative for now, but the fact that it's even being discussed tells you how all in this front office might be in 2025. And what about special teams? There's intrigue there, too. Brandon Aubrey has the edge in the kicking competition, but don't rule out a surprise signing if he falters in camp. The Cowboys know how important every point can be in tight NFC East matchups, and they're not going to hesitate if performance lags. Turpin's role in the return game also seems set to expand, with special teams coordinator John Fassel emphasizing more creative packages to get him into space. This camp is as much about establishing identity as it is about installing plays. Let's not forget the off-field dynamics either. Parsons continues to show leadership maturity, hosting position group dinners and even taking the time to mentor rookies during walkthroughs. Diggs, despite his rehab schedule, has been spotted constantly on the sideline, offering tips and encouragement to DBs during live reps. That's what you want to see from your stars. That's what championship culture looks like. It's only the first week of camp, but already the tone is being set. This team feels different not just in terms of talent, but in hunger. From Jerry's fiery statements to the hustle of undrafted guys trying to steal a spot, there's an urgency that's hard to fake. And whether that ends in a long playoff run or another what-if season is still to be seen. But one thing's for sure, every practice rep, every player status update, every Jerry soundbite is part of a bigger puzzle. And for now, Cowboys fans can take comfort in knowing that the pieces are starting to come together. That's it for now, Cowboys Nation. But trust me, this is just the beginning. Training camp is heating up, and we'll be right here bringing you every juicy detail, injury report, and sideline drama. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a beat. This season's going to be a wild ride, and we're taking you with us every step of the way. Let's go Cowboys!